how to boost your self-confidence, how to increase your confidence, learning to overcome self-doubt, ways to improve your self-esteem. These are all the things that we're going to be talking about today and much more, which, of course, is going to help you raise your vibration to achieve more success in your life. And that might sound a little woohoo and all that, but don't worry, we're going to get into it. But before we do, let's roll that intro.
Welcome to the RockStar in Life podcast, where you learn the secrets to unleashing your inner rockstar so you can make the world your stage.
Before we get started, let's go ahead and introduce again. We've got Siri Shakti with me again.
Hey, everyone.
And we've got Tony with us again. Say what's up, Tony.
I'm back. I've come back from Santorini and I'm back. Did you you probably didn't miss me.
We missed you. We missed you. Yes.
We did.
Guys, I tell you what, this is amazing. I went away and I've come back and we've got Siri Shakti on the show as well now. I am stoked to get going on this topic today. I'm really, really excited.
Yes.
Let's go.
I love it. All right. Well, using these tools and strategies that we're about to share with you today are going to help you in so many ways. I mean, it can help you in so many different parts of your life, both business, financial, physical, relationships, your personal life, which is all part of it, right?
Yep.
So some of the things that this can actually help you with, and it's helped us in our life. I mean, we're speaking from experience, things that we've, used these strategies and tools every day in our life consistently, right?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. So to help you make more money, more opportunities will fall in your lap. Help you make more like-minded friends, help support each other and support each other in this journey to success in life.
Yeah. And it really goes down to what we always talk about. We say being healthy, happy, and wealthy. Maybe it's not in that exact order, but those are the three things. I mean, we all want to have tools that we can use in our daily lives that are going to help us be the best versions of ourselves. And this is one of those ones that, what we're going to be talking about today is something that we can use every single day throughout our life to strengthen us and to believe in ourselves. And I mean, think about it. When you believe in yourself, right, everything's possible. And that inner confidence, it radiates out into everything that you do. So we want that for you, just like we work on that ourselves all the time.
Yeah. And if you are somebody that's single, and want to find love, want to find somebody, a significant other to share your life with, this also will help you. I mean, there's really nothing this won't help with, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it won't help if you want to be sad, depressed, broke, unhappy, alone, and sick.
Yeah.
Then it won't help.
I don't think anybody really wants that, but we get into limiting patterns, the way that we think about ourselves and about our life. And so what we want to do, just like an old record, right? Let's say you have a record you're playing and you've been following this type of way of thinking and behavior for a long time. Well, we want to begin to scratch that record so that way you can stop these old patterns and get a handle on them and start actually creating and manifesting what it is that you really want. Yeah. Exactly.
So one of the things that we'll start with is, the things that you say to yourself,
Yes.
Whether it be you say out loud or you say inside your own head, you echo into your own chamber, into your brain, into your own ear canals, or whatever you want to call it. And we did a whole episode on this where it was, your thoughts and your words become your reality, because it's so true. And we'll be sure to link to that episode. But that's one of the biggest things right there, is what you say to yourself could be holding you back from the confidence that you want to achieve, from vibrating at a higher level for, finding true love, making new friends, keeping the good friends, not the bad friends, right?
Yeah. Yeah. This, I'd say out of everything we're going to discuss today, this is one of the biggest things for me, because this is something that I really struggled with over the years. Is is catching that inner dialogue. And it wasn't until a few years ago that I was able to really begin to see what was going on. I had some old ways of looking at myself, and they were not limiting. I mean, it was sometimes downright nasty the way I would talk about myself. I'd say, like I was stupid, I was ugly, I think for me, like the stupid one came up, like I was like dumb or something. And I think maybe some of that came from like my experiences in school. And so what I've had to do is become really conscious of it. And even like now, after all the growing that I've done over the years, this is still something that comes up for me. So it's not like about being perfect. I mean, even like people that you see that you look up to, like great teachers or athletes and things like that, they deal with this as well. I mean, we all have these little things that play out in our head, but it's a matter of, are you going to listen to them? Right? Are you going to listen to this inner dialogue that goes on, and also catching it? If I see or notice that I'm saying something to myself that's limiting, I actually have to, in the moment, turn it around and catch it and say and replace it with something that is actually true. Because typically when those things that we say to ourselves are actually a lie that we tell ourselves. It's false. And we want to replace it with what we really know in our heart is true. Like in my case, it would be, I am smart, I am intelligent, and all those things. And this is now what I try to tell myself on a daily basis.
No, I mean, you go to school doesn't do that. What are you talking about? School is there to uplift you, make you feel smart,
Yeah. Yeah, right. No.
No, that wasn't my experience either. I think maybe only one teacher, maybe two teachers in my entire life were actually nice to me. The rest of them just treated me like a problem child. And, I've told that story several times where they, in front of the whole class, my teacher had said, today we're going to be grading on a scale. All the way on today's test. And it's going to be all the way from 100% down to Dan's score, in front of the whole class.
Gosh.
So and I've got plenty of other examples like that too. When I wanted to go to the bathroom and it was after recess or something. And the teacher's like, well, you could just pee your pants because you should have went during recess. So I won't tell you the rest of that story, but,
did you pee your pants?
I won't tell the rest of the story, but yes, I did.
Now, speaking of this, I'm kind of curious, like Tony, how have you dealt with this in your life? Because this comes up for all of us. So how is it that you handle this kind of inner dialogue that goes on?
It's constantly a work in progress, same as most people, to be honest. And like the other day, I say the other day, it was 2-3 weeks ago now, in the last episode I did with Dan, he caught me saying something that I didn't even realize I was saying. So yeah, I said something kind of negative. What even was it? I said it's a challenge, or I find it difficult.
You said it's a challenge and you struggle or something like that. I remember it was twice. It was in 2 different episodes, I believe. I think one of the episodes you had actually even fought me on that, and you even, I think it was like you have a challenge with it, and basically you wanted to keep having a challenge with it is what it turned out to be.
I don't remember saying that, but okay. But it's a work in
I'll dig for that one. I'll bring it up.
Yeah, Dan's going to insert the clip here. That's when our time together, where we're not mummy and daddy, is. So to just have 2 hours, that's my problem with it. Is that
what? It's your what?
That is my. I said that is my problem with
challenge.
it, but that is my. Well, no. What I'm saying is
challenge.
That's what I've got against it. That is what I'm like. Oh, it doesn't. I don't feel like it.
Well, of course you've got. Yeah. Of course you got against it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
But you gave a very pointed word there.
Yeah.
It's your problem.
So that's my problem with
Problems
it.
can't be solved, man. Problems can't be solved.
Yeah.
So
that's my disagreement with it. You see, not
that's
with
your reality.
point, but with. Yeah.
He's all proof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a work in progress with me, as with most people. Yeah, the things that you say, I do find that when people say things like this, where they say, "Oh, you're in a dialogue," catch yourself saying, "Oh, I'm such an idiot." I don't do that. For me, it's smaller things, like people, like me saying, people won't pay that. Or small things like that. or saying to Pippa, our 2-year-old, going, "Oh, Daddy's a dingbat," and then I'll go, "That's not right. Don't do that." So just little things like that. It's never anything as disastrous as going, "I'm such a mess up. Oh, why does anyone like me?" It's never as obvious as that. But yeah, and the whole school thing, Dan, I'm with you. That's why I was like nodding my head, because school wasn't the best breeding ground for positive experiences for me either. So the good news is, folks, if you're watching, you're not at school anymore. Well, you're probably not at school anymore. Just leave that in the past. Let's move on with life.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, if you're still in school, just know that there is light at the end of the tunnel once you get out of it, and it won't matter anymore. Then you got to give yourself a good brain scrubbing, a good brain wash, right? You wash the rest of your body. Why not wash your brain? You got to scrub that out. Yeah, you got to get rid of all that crap, because I had to unlearn. I had to cleanse myself of all the crap that I learned in school, like you're not enough and you're not smart, and you can't learn as well as other people, can. And, this whole thing of like, who's voted to be likely to succeed, and who's got the best personality, and then teachers, or what was it, the guidance counselor telling you what you should do, like you should be a janitor because you suck, or something like that. Not that I don't even remember if I even went to one. I didn't even want to like bother. I was like, what are you going to tell me? Forget you.
Yeah, I know for myself, I went through a lot of, I was teased a lot in school, and I know I'm not alone in that. This is something that a lot of kids go through, and you think about it, such an impressionable age. And so at a young age, when we're going through constant teasing on a regular basis, although nowadays they call it bullying, but back then it was just being made fun of, they called it.
Grow tougher skin.
Yeah. Go, or some parents, I've heard parents even say, "Oh, I went through it,
Way worse.
Yeah. I had it worse. Just
it's part of school.
Tough
part
enough.
of life.
For myself, I had to untrain, or I had to train myself to let go of that and to be okay with that. And Tony, what I was saying about catching in the moment, we're all a little bit different, but I know for myself, I can tell it's kind of like a trigger. When I go into that self-defeating kind of attitude and self-talk, it's a certain emotion that arises, and it doesn't serve me, and it just, I feel kind of puts me off course of where I want to go. And so that's what we really want to do. We want to, share our stories with you in hopes that one thing will click for you. You'll be like, "Oh, I can use that." Maybe you yourself have this kind of thing go on, and just hearing other people share how, like us, how we've been able to learn how to master these things will encourage you to know that you absolutely can do this as well. And we're all supporting each other. We're all working on this. Like I always say, no one's perfect, right?
Yeah. And hopefully it can help you, because I mean, I know it will help you, because we by nature, most people need to see somebody else achieve something in order to believe it's possible for them too. And we've seen countless and countless examples through history like this. Everything from thinking that, you can't run under a certain amount of, a mile in under, 3 minutes or something like that, or 4 minutes. They thought it was physically impossible. I always forget what the number is, but that's a good thing, because maybe I could run a 2-minute mile now, because I don't know the number.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'll try that. I'll get started right now. So there's tons and tons of examples, in every sport, and everything that you can do is, once somebody achieves something, then all of a sudden it becomes possible for others. And that's, for us, we've had a lot of challenges in our life, and we still continue to have a lot of challenges in our life, but it doesn't stop us from becoming successful. And if we can do it, then you can do it as well. And there's some people out there that, had even more challenges than us.
Yeah.
And they also have found success. And then there's those that have had less challenges than us, and they don't find success, and they just give up, and they think that it's impossible for them, but it's not. It is not impossible for anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're working on, let's say you set a goal for yourself, you have this grand vision for what it is you want to create, or maybe there's something that, a challenge that you're working on overcoming. What I've noticed is that you go through, it's like ebbs and flows, right? confidence, and then you may have a moment of feeling that like you're not feeling so confident. Things are feeling a little shaky, you know? And that is that doubt that comes in. And the doubt can be very convincing. And, you know, that doubt is trying to sneak in there saying, like, who do you think you are to think you can be that great? And what I've always loved, the way I actually communicate to myself now, is I'm like, you know, when that doubt tries to sneak in, I'm like, it's trying to say basically, F you, sit down, right? And I say, F me, F you. So basically it's pushing back against that resistance that's trying to like stop you, you know, that internal doubt that's trying to make you literally sit down and shut up, basically.
Exactly. And we really do that. We really scream that out. We don't say F you. We actually say the whole thing.
I say the real word. Yeah.
We do. And we actually like to put a little spin on it and make it fun. We do the Austin Powers version. And we won't explain which version that is. For those of you who've seen it, you probably know. But there's a part in there where he does that.
Yeah.
Where he says it.
Exactly.
Throw up the pictures of the characters, and they'll know if they've seen it.
They'll know. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's an inside job, like Siri Shakti was saying, that you know, you are very convincing because it is part of you. And again, this is another episode that we actually went through this. We talked about how, you know, the self-sabotage, it knows all your weaknesses.
Yeah.
It knows like how to disguise itself to make it feel like it's not you, it's something else. It's something externally that's creating you to have these challenges, and it's not in your control. Because if it's not in your control and these challenges are happening that you can't control them, then it's not your fault. And then you can just go ahead and play the victim.
Yeah.
And not saying that they aren't real, and not saying that you aren't, you know, going through a challenging or tough time, but you could either sit down and just let it happen to you, and then just, you know, and just let it wound you, you know, or you can actually, you know, get up at some point and be like, no, I'm not going to accept this. I'm not going to accept feeling like crap. I'm not going to accept making myself, you know, talk down to myself and feel like poop.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to accept this, and I'm going to get out there and make it happen. You know, nothing's going to stop me. And what do you do if it happens again? What do you do if you know, if it keeps happening? You keep doing exactly what Siri Shakti said, you know, F me, no, F you.
Yeah.
No, and you just keep doing it.
Yeah, I like to look at this as building a muscle, because it's so easy. Like sometimes, you know, as we've gone through, you know, like we've learned from a lot of great teachers and things. For instance, you know, I look at them and I'm like, you see where they're at now, and you think, oh, those people must have it all together. They must have no challenges. That is not reality. The reality is that all of these people have faced their own internal and external challenges, but they've found ways to master their emotions, and they work on it every day. This is what we're talking about, right? This isn't just a one-time fix, you know, now we're all good, right? This is like etching away at, like, let's say you have a big stone and you're etching away at it slowly to create a masterpiece. That's what your life is. You're etching away to make the masterpiece of your life. And I like to think of this as like a muscle, because when you go through these times of this like inner kind of conflict, where you have this inner dialogue of maybe like not so, you know, not empowering things coming through, or that inner doubt, well, these things are, you know, on one side, they're actually coming up for a purpose, because they're testing you to make you stronger, right? This is life. It's test to strengthen. And that's how we build a muscle. I mean, think about it, Dan, when you're working out, you're actually tearing down the muscle, right? To make it stronger.
Yeah, when you're working out, you're not making it stronger when you work it out, when it works out. When you're doing it, it's actually tearing it apart.
Yeah.
So you're shredding, tearing, destroying, so that way it will rebuild.
Yes.
So when you're resting, it's rebuilding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And, you know, like Siri Shakti actually said, is that this is not something that others don't struggle with because I've spent a week in places like Fiji, an entire week having lunch, breakfast, and dinner with millionaires, billionaires, athletes, A-list celebrities, producers, movie stars. I mean, you name it. If I named the people that I was hanging out with, you would know exactly who they are. You would be like, whoa, seriously? How are they? Who are they? Whatever. And we talked about their fears. We talked about their insecurities, that they don't feel like they're enough. And you're just, if I was to say this, or they don't feel they're pretty or good looking or smart, and you would just be like, what?
Yeah.
They're a millionaire. They're like they were voted sexiest man alive, or they won many awards. They have the top show. They produce the top show in the world for several years in a row. Like, how can they be insecure and lack confidence? What?
Yeah.
So it's not about not having those challenges in your life. It's about overcoming them as they come. So they come, just like working out, you get destroyed, it gets ripped up, it gets shredded. Well, you push through. You push through and you heal those. So that's what they're doing as well, is they're just constantly doing the things necessary to heal themselves so they can move forward. So they're going to feel that way, then they're going to get over it. They're going to heal. And that's the same thing, that we kind of talk about as well when we say, have a bad day, right? There was a whole episode we said, have a bad day. And when I say that, usually people are like, what? Have a bad day?
I don't want a bad day.
Exactly. But it's allowing yourself to have, it doesn't have to be a whole day. It could be a few minutes. It could be a half an hour. It could be a few hours, whatever, it's going to happen. You're going to tear yourself up, and then you just have to push through.
Yeah.
You push through, you heal, and then you regroup and you get stronger from it.
Yeah. Yeah. This actually makes me think of something. And actually, Tony, I was thinking about you because you're a new father. And, your daughter's very young. How old is your daughter right now, actually?
So our little bundle of energy, Pippa, she's 2 at the moment. She's 3 in November.
2.
So give it a month and she'll be 3. She'll be a 3-nager.
Awesome. Well, I think you'll be able to relate to this then, because I was talking to my mom a while back, and I was kind of going through my own struggle, and I was dealing with this. I had some some negative self-talk going on, and she stopped me for a minute, and she's like, honey, I'm your mother, and I don't think you realize just how wonderful you are. And so it's interesting because, as adults, we grow up and oftentimes are like our hardest critic, right? But as a father, you look at your child and you see the truth of who she is. You see the beauty. You see all the greatness in her. And so, just thinking about it, if we were to talk to ourselves the way that a healthy parent would talk to ourselves, those saying all the wonderful things, right?
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's funny, we were talking about bullies back before, and I was thinking about what did my mum used to say about bullies, and she used to go, oh, they're just jealous. They're just jealous. That was my mum's go-to for everything. So I probably wouldn't use that advice for everything like she did, and probably still would if I said it. I was having a problem with something. She'd go, oh, they're just jealous. No, Mum, it's a real tax bill. I've got to pay it. That's true. But I know exactly what you mean. If you talk to yourself like you would talk to your child,
yes,
then maybe things will be so much better. Maybe if you talk to your inner child like you would talk to your own child. It's weird because I figured a little thing with myself was I realized, and one way I managed to overcome not doing the things that needed doing was I realized that really we all have a small child inside ourselves that's going, no, I'm not doing it. I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to do it. So for me, I realized if I get my R's in gear, which is get results, rewards, and results, routine, and rewards, remove resistance. That was the thing I figured out, where I was like, little kids need routine. They feel safe if you give them routine, and I think so from a position of getting stuff done, routine, results, rewards. That removes the resistance. That was my little thing. And it aligns perfectly with just speak to your inner child like you would speak with your own child. 100%.
Yes.
And
yes.
the good news is you don't have to be a parent to use that. You can just imagine, like, how would I talk
Will you be a
to
parent to
any
yourself?
little kid? Yeah, be a parent to yourself. How would I talk to any little scared kid who doesn't know what the hell is going on? How would I talk to them and just be nice for a nice little change? Yeah.
Well, it's really understanding that these are safeguards also, like, in your DNA. These are things that your inner self does to protect you from dangers out there that no longer really exist. They still safeguard you from certain things happening, from you getting on stage, speaking at an event without preparing, and then just like not say, like, just babbling on there going like, today I had this for breakfast.
I've done that, but not quite gone as bad as just saying what I had for breakfast. But I've done that. I've turned up to gigs, singing gigs where I've not prepared at all for the gig at all. I've done that at least 3 times. Yeah. Just to give myself that rush. I regretted it immediately. So yeah, sorry for derailing. Please continue.
That's fine. I'm glad you brought that up because it happened to me once. I got on stage and I was always definitely afraid to speak on stage. Like I wouldn't do it. Like you remember, like I used to make you do it when we were like doing events back in the day.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even get up there. I was too freaked out, too afraid. Then I started forcing myself to do it. And then when I wrote my book, RockStar in Life, my first book, then I was at an event and I had everything prepared. I was always one that's like, I'm just going to get up there and just give a bunch of free content. If people like it, they'll buy my book, they'll buy my courses, they'll get my coaching and stuff like that. Well, one of my friends at the time, he just got back from another event where he's like, oh, you got to do exactly what they did. You got to get up there and just tease them with a bunch of stuff. Like you just talk about stuff, but you don't teach them anything. And then you just make them want the stuff that you have and then they'll buy your stuff. And he just kept going on and on about that. Well, he did this the day of my event.
Oh my God.
So, and he's actually the one putting on the event. So it's his event that he's organized. So I'm speaking at his event. I'm like, okay, I guess I should do what he says. So I've got like 4 hours before the event starts and I'm like trying to like write down what I'm going to go over. And I am totally lost. I get up there and I bomb so bad, but because I bombed so incredibly bad, it's forced me from now on to prepare better, not get derailed, not allow people to tell me how I should do what I do, whatever, and just get up there and do the way I'm going to do it.
Yeah. And
to just give myself and give it all. And like, like the stuff we're talking about today, the things that we're sharing on, on this podcast and these videos, these are things, we could charge, we could do a coaching course on, and we can charge people for, or a video course and not give the stuff for free and just do a bunch of videos of like teasers, like here's 5 tips on how you could overcome this and just like spend 5 minutes on it, not really give you any real good like tips to use it or examples or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then be like, if you want the good stuff, buy this, from us. But that's just not in our nature. We want to give, we want to help others out there because we believe by putting good out there, we'll get good back. Whether it's directly from you watching this video or somebody else, coming to us and saying, hey, I want to hire you to be my trainer, be my coach, or come speak at my event, or I want to partner with you on a product, or I've got an idea for this, or I've got somebody I can connect you with that has a TV show, or they have this, or they have that. And, or I want to, have you should get interviewed by my friend, so-and-so that has a huge audience or something like that. And it's not even directly related to what we're sharing here in a way. So it's not like they saw the video and said, because of that, I want to connect you and do good to you. It's like, it's just kind of that energy, you put good out there, good comes back. So that's what we're always doing.
Yeah, definitely.
And it makes us feel good.
Well,
it fills us up.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it, like I always say this in my life. It's like, we want other people to be happy in their lives because when people are happy, right, we make good decisions for the world. And this is what we need more of, right? There's so many people that are in fear and pain and in leadership positions making very poor decisions, you know? And so this is like about raising that vibration, raising the vibration and putting the good out. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think putting out the good stuff is a good idea in whatever business you're in. I like to always quote the music industry. They don't save the best songs for the album and then release the mediocre ones as the singles to play for free on the radio. They put the best stuff out there. Like Gary Vee says, hey, I'll put all my best stuff out there. 99% of people won't even take action anyway. They'll just come and buy my book or buy my course, or he doesn't do courses, but do his events and stuff like that. And I think that's the way to go. It's the only way to go. Is just give, and good stuff will come back to you. 100%.
That reminds me. That reminds me what you said, Tony, about people putting the best albums out there on the radio for free and then sell their albums, whatever, And I remember like the days of going to like Tower Records, or what was that other? There was another one. It wasn't Tower Records. There's another one. And I remember going in there because you'd hear a song on the radio and you're like, oh, that was a great song. So then you'd be trying to buy that single because they sold tapes as singles. But a lot of the times their best song that they had on the radio, they didn't even sell as a single. You had to actually buy the whole album in order to get that one song that you wanted, and then the rest of the album sucked. Yeah. I remember, oh man, so many times you just get it, like 12 songs just weren't great. One was like gold, and you're like, I want that. And then you have to spend like $20-$30 on a cassette tape, and you're just like one song on there you like.
Right. I'm going to derail everything now. So, Dan, Siri, Shakti, and everyone watching, I want to hear in the comments, if you're listening on Spotify or any of those audio places, come on over to YouTube. We have cookies and things. We want to see in the comments down below, what was your first album you ever bought or was given? What was your first album that you owned? Mine was Batman, the Prince, the Batman soundtrack by Prince. Dan, what was yours? Can you remember?
Honestly, I cannot remember, but I have like 8 tracks from when I was a kid. When I was a little kid, okay. I like the Smurfs. I probably had like the Chipmunks. But besides that, like I remember the first
record on vinyl.
I remember the first DVD I had was like Run DMC. Yeah.
Okay.
Are we talking about cassette tapes, or are we talking about
CD?
Album? I guess
your first album ever that you owned.
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know. Yeah.
Barney probably for her.
Yeah.
Right away I thought of Little Mermaid because I remember singing Little Mermaid all the time, but I think that was cassette tape. So if you're lucky, I might break out singing Little Mermaid for you. No joking.
Yeah.
Look at this stuff.
I might have to go in the mental Rolodex, figure that out.
So my first 3 cassettes, I'll tell you now, my first 3 albums that I owned, rather. Number 1 was Batman, the soundtrack by Prince. Amazing album. I still listen to it now, not the cassette on Spotify. The second one was the greatest hits of 1986 that I was given by these are all given to me. These are hand-me-downs given to me by my sister. And the third one was White Snake, greatest hits.
Ooh, nice.
10.
Nice.
Rocking out to White Snake. So
I think I used to just steal all my brothers. My brother had a bunch like Guns N' Roses and stuff like that. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I go a little further back. I mean, I remember having like Twisted Sister, like some AC/DC. I remember Van Halen, 5150. I mean, I remember a lot of those.
Nice.
Nice.
In the comments, let's hear them, folks. I think I want to see some really impressive stuff in the comments. So if you're watching, let's see them in the comments because I'm nosy. I want to get some good classic music recommendations.
Like Barney.
Love it.
Barney, yeah.
And Little Mermaid.
Yeah, one of the things that I wanted to touch on too is, something came to me that a lot of times when we deal with more like self-defeating thoughts and things that we say to ourselves, a lot of times these come from traumatic events that we went through. And these are things that we're kind of like, reliving in our brain, and they still affect us, even like back when we were a child. And, I got to tell you that when you're dealing with stuff like this, there is a time, sometimes, like I said, I got to be tough with myself, right? I said, like, F you, I'm like, push back. But there are times where sometimes it's that softness that's needed. I know sometimes I have to just take a pause, take a deep breath, and just remind myself, you say to yourself, I got this. I got this, and just, and dwell in that for a moment. Don't just say it and then move on to the next thing. Say it and take a moment to actually realize you do got this. It's, you are stronger. You are more confident than you even realize. You just got to give yourself that credit. Don't you agree with that?
Yeah. I think it'd be great for you to check out the episode, Have a Bad Day, because we go through a lot of the tools and things that you can do to get yourself out of it, and like you said, some needs to be like very warm and gentle, like a hug, and others have to be like a slap, like, hey, get up, do this, come on,
or like
like a personal trainer, like, yeah, you got to get up and do this. You got 2 more, like, go, go, go. Yeah. So you need that. Yeah. So now that we've went through all that, let's go through some of the tools and some of the things that you can use to overcome this, to conquer this, like some real useful things. Because I'll say first off, before we can get into the tools, this is actually part of the strategy and part of the tools is to be committed, because it takes commitment and consistent practice. Not just doing it once or twice, right? Because consistent doesn't just mean once or twice, and making a commitment doesn't mean, oh, I'll just do it like once or every now and then. No, it's consistent and commitment and practice. Yeah. So you have to constantly do it over and over again. And what happens if you mess up and you mess up 1 time or 2 times? Consistent practice. Practice means you try, you keep going. What if it doesn't work? What do you do?
Try and try again.
You keep going. What if it doesn't work then?
Keep on going.
And what if it happens if it doesn't work again?
Then you keep going.
What does Dory always say? What does Dory say when life gets you down?
Let's keep swimming. Let's keep swimming. Ha, 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 ha.
Nice. So it's just like learning to walk. Like, I love this analogy. Like, I didn't even know about this until like a couple years back when I first heard this. And I'm like, oh, I'm stealing that. I'm using that again, And it's learning to walk. Like, it's just insane that you never really learn how to walk. It's like, what? You don't learn how to walk. I know how to walk. I walk. It's like, no, you don't learn how to walk. You actually learn how to not fall and how to catch yourself before you fall. So every step you take, you're catching yourself from falling. So you're just learning how to not fall. And I thought that was like so cool. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
And what did it take to learn to not fall? Practice, which we call walking, but it took practice. And what would have happened if you tried it a few times and then you're like, oh, this walking thing isn't for me. I'm just not going to do it.
I'm just going to sit here.
Yeah. You're going to crawl everywhere. That's going to be your life. You're going to crawl everywhere. You're going to like do those like army crawls where you're like, can you imagine that?
I mean, yeah, when you see a baby learning how to walk, I mean, they are determined. And when they fall over, they may cry for a minute, but they get right back up and they just keep on going. Yeah. They're like, I'm getting this thing down.
Or like even riding a bike, just to give you another visual analogy right there, is riding a bike. You never learn to really balance. Like, you don't learn to balance like perfectly in the middle. Like, you're just keeping yourself from falling to the left, falling to the right. You're in between. Yeah. So you're constantly rebalancing yourself over and over again. Because if you aren't, then you're going to fall over to the left or you're going to fall over to the right.
Yeah.
And that's just like, it's the same thing here. It's a balancing act to keep yourself in the middle. So what happens if I start having challenges and I start leaning to the left? Yeah, you do what you need to do to get back to the other side to get to the middle. What happens if you start going to the other side? The same thing. You start balancing and getting yourself in the middle to get that balance back. And you just keep doing that over and over again, which takes, again, consistency and commitment and practice.
Yep. Very
and
good.
One thing that I would like to add as well is that when people are undoing all the bad habits, they're unmessing themselves, to keep it PG, is that they've been pretty consistent in saying and doing the wrong things for quite a long time. So that's really why you need to be consistent in overcoming these negative things and this new way of doing it and making that decision and taking that consistent, committed action. So you were pretty consistent and committed the wrong way. So just bear in mind you're going to have to be pretty consistent and committed the right way. Hey, if you're doing it that way before, just do it this way instead. Sounds good.
Yes. Yeah.
100%.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about some actual things that they can use to do this.
Like some real tools. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you've heard us talk about before in past episodes, and if you haven't, well, now you'll hear it, and maybe you've heard it other places. Motion creates emotion. Mm-hmm. And this is so true. I mean, whenever we're feeling a little down, I used to give people like high fives, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm like, oh man, I'm tired. And when I worked in an office setting, I'd be tired and kind of a little depressed or whatever. So as soon as I walked out of the office and I saw somebody in the hall, I'm like, hey, what's up, man? High five. Yeah. What's up, girl? High five. And I do it like in the Borat, accent, like high five. And, it's fun. So I do it with my kids now. We joke around and I come downstairs, and I probably seem like I'm like in the happiest mood ever because I'm forcing myself to get like that. Mm-hmm. So by doing that, by creating that motion, I'm creating an emotion within me and others around me as well.
Yeah. Yeah. This actually to me goes with how you're using your physiology, because what you got to understand is that our body has patterns, the way we use our body. I mean, you can, honestly, right now, you can tell me exactly, if I was to ask you, what does someone look like if they're depressed or sad? There's a certain body language. They're closed up, shallow breathing, maybe the head down. What does someone look like that's confident or feeling happy or joyful? Well, they're more open. They speak with more enthusiasm. So the thing is there's a recipe that our bodies follow. And so, sometimes you kind of have to adjust your physiology to bring that out. One example I want to share with you, and it seems a little funny, but it works for me. I love the Lord of the Rings movies and books, but in the movies, I remember the first time I saw them, I saw the elves, and they seemed so like regal and well-spoken and sure of themselves. That was exactly the quality that I wanted to experience in my life. So when I had gone through some challenges, I'd be like on a walk, and I'd actually walk as if I was one of the elves. I would even use my eyes in a certain way and breathe in the way I thought they would breathe. And I started little by little to feel like that way, that type of confidence that I'd imagined that a character like that would feel like. So it might seem funny because it's like a fantasy book or fantasy movie, but this is a tool that's helped me, and this is all about using your body, right?
Yeah, and you don't have to, do exactly, you don't have to be an elf, right? Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be from a movie. Yeah. It can be somebody else, somebody that you want to mimic and model, or just an imaginary person that you imagine yourself or you imagine somebody else being like, you know? It could be, I want to be like a superhero. Or, hey, I'm just going to imagine myself being this person full of energy and just joking around and having a good time. So it doesn't really matter what it is. Just you want to mimic and model those that have, that kind of energy and that kind of attitude that you want.
Yes.
It's kind of that whole, I don't like to say fake it till you make it, but, because, fake it, don't fake it, just make it, right? Hashtag Bodhi logic. But, again, it's just doing it. That's practice, consistency, and commitment. Mm-hmm. Doing those things, not necessarily in that order. Any order actually works as long as you're doing all three of them. And you just do that enough times and it becomes part of you.
Yep. Nice.
And you can dial into it anytime.
And we actually have some tools here that are things that you can do like for instance, we love yoga. So for us, a tool is morning yoga because we know that it's going to help us to feel like more balanced, get into that kind of confidence, setting your intention for the day. So maybe you do yoga, maybe you do meditation. I know some people like to do like qigong. And then after that, we always go on our morning walks. Those are, I know for me, I go on like 2, sometimes 3 walks a day. I love going on walks. And it's just my time to kind of get into a rhythm. And, I look at the trees and everything, listen to my favorite music. Sometimes we go together. We have good conversation.
Going on walks is super important. The morning yoga, I've talked about this on past episodes where it's the difference between, it wasn't something that I loved. I didn't love doing yoga, but I loved the effects it gave me. Like, it was like amazing. Like, it was a whole new world had opened up to me once I started actually doing yoga and meditating. And again, it doesn't have to be long. I mean, we used to do 40-minute, hour-long sessions. But now a lot of the times they're 10, 15 minutes long, and that's it. And, we have, you have some videos on Daily Shakti on YouTube. Go to Daily Shakti and you can follow along and do those. And you can do them in 10, 15 minutes or heck, even 5 minutes. 5 minutes is better than nothing, and do it first thing in the morning, or, maybe not first thing, maybe you go to the restroom, brush your teeth, whatever it might be, but then you do it. You don't get your day started until you do it. And what happens if you forget to do it? You do it then.
Yep.
You do it when you have to do, like, as soon as you remember, do it. Set a reminder, set a calendar reminder. I mean, do what you need to do to remember. But do it. Do it once a day, preferably first thing in the morning, after you've got up and brushed your teeth and woke up. And again, without me doing that, it's giving me if I don't do it, I feel like my day is me walking through mud, sludge. I feel stressed. A lot of times I lack confidence. I mean, it makes a huge difference for me. That one strategy alone is that much of a difference for me.
Yeah.
And then the morning walks, do those. Exercise. So, exercise preferably a minimum of 3 times a week. But I would say bare minimum twice a week. And when I say exercise, I'm not talking about just walking. I'm talking about using exercise bands, using dumbbells, kettlebell, suspension trainers. One of the brands is TRX. A lot of people refer to them as that, but it's suspension training is what it is. And doing that 2 to 3 times, and you don't have to do them all. I'm just saying one of those at least, and do it 3 times a week. I mean, heck, even body weight exercises is better than nothing because you're using your body weight, right?
Yeah. So basically the point is get your exercise in, get that heart rate up, build the strength, do your cardiovascular, things like that.
Resistance training too, because that's super important.
Yeah. Now, I think we have maybe 2 more tools that we want to say here, because there's one that is really important where it's, what is your social diet? Okay. Because if you're doing all this work on yourself to better yourself, but then you're hanging out with people that are really negative. I mean, thing is our family's our family, but we control who are our friends and who we decide to associate with on a regular basis. And you want to seek out friendships that are going to uplift you. I know with my friends, like Laura and Livia, for instance, 2 of my best friends, there's this exchange. We're always helping one another, and we're always trying to uplift one another. And that's nice, right? Instead of, I know a lot of women that have relationships where they're just talking about each other behind each other's back and a lot of drama. And that's not healthy. Yeah.
Well, super important. Social diet, do it. Obviously you're going to be around people that you work with or family members that you have to be around occasionally, and you're going to have to suck it up and deal with it. In past episode, we talk about dealing with difficult people, and I definitely recommend watching those past episodes about that as well. But yeah, you just got to limit your exposure to those people and surround yourself more with those that give you energy and don't take energy from you. So avoid the spiritual vampires. We always say, love your family, choose your friends, which means, love your family and by far, if you need to, love them by far from further away. And then choose your friends and hang out with those that you choose that are, good for your health. They're not junk food for your health.
Yeah.
Watching inspiring shows and movies is another one too. In past episodes, we also talked about, I think that was in your thoughts, create your thoughts and words, create your reality, I believe is the one that we talked about. But yeah, that's a lot of negative energy if you're constantly watching nothing but slasher films where people are getting murdered, or, or people are being cheated on in relationships, or people are being beaten like to a pulp,
Yeah.
and that's it,
Basically, to sum that part up, it's like, watch what you're putting, because we have different senses in your eyes, in your ears, things like that. So it's not that you can't ever watch these movies. Like sometimes we watch, I don't know. I don't watch horror movies personally, but like action movies with or zombie movies and stuff. But it's kind of like a balance. Like we watch a lot of comedies or inspirational films. And, what music do you listen to? Does it when you listen to it, you're like, yeah, it makes me feel good. And so this is just part of it. This is part of raising that vibration to feel good and be in that happy place.
Yeah, don't listen to music that's saying I hate my life, I hate everybody, wish I was dead, and I'm worthless, and I hope everybody dies. That's
God.
Yeah, that's a real song, by the way. Written by Tony. Tony wrote that song.
Greatest hits there, yeah, greatest hits. That's on my latest album, and it's no.
I'm joking.
Like
that was
that
actually
for
on
me.
the Chipmunks.
Do you know, yeah, the Chipmunks. I hate everybody.
Yep.
So on the topic of TV shows and whatnot, Squid Game is currently number one here on Netflix in the UK and most of Europe. I don't know if you have that there in the US. It's kind of a mix between The Hunger Games, Saw, and the reality show Big Brother. It's very dark, and I think people who watch shows like that all the time are gonna definitely, they've got a funny diet. If they're a funny entertainment diet, let's call it, if they're watching stuff like that all the time. We watched it, found it fascinating. It's Korean, I think, and super crazy. Like, damn, that's come from an interesting mind. But it's we've watched that, and we've been up to date with the rest of the world, as it were. Like, it's number one at the minute. And I heard the guy who wrote it, he even had to sell his laptop because he couldn't sell the story. And then now it's like he's doing very well for himself off the back of it. But now we've kind of moved on with that, and we're watching other things, and that's not our complete entertainment diet. So definitely you can watch things like that. No need to miss out. But somebody said they were watching a show, Handmaid's Tale. Handmaid's Tale.
We watched
they
that.
said they were watching it, and they went, "Oh no, I don't feel nice watching this," and they stopped watching it because it just didn't feel nice. So I
it's
think
a balance.
your gut will tell you what's good, and just follow that. If it feels good, do more of it.
I think you're right. You are right. You have to follow your gut of what it's right. I personally loved it, but I had to balance it with happy stuff. Like, I'd watch it and then afterwards watch a comedy.
Yeah, we watch Ted Lasso or something. A feel-good show that you get good energy and feel good about after.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely.
It's eating Twinkies. It's eating Twinkies. You don't eat Twinkies, or you don't have a cheesecake or a chocolate cake every meal. And you don't do that every day, You have cheesecake or chocolate cake maybe once a week or twice a week.
Yeah.
And you balance that out with a healthy meal.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's what you should be doing, Tony. So don't be eating it every meal.
That is
anymore.
what I should be doing. You're right. And on the topic of exercise, by the way, obviously I'm a fan of yoga. I'm a certified DDP yoga trainer. So if anyone out there is going, "Oh, yoga, it's a bit, it's a bit far on the woo-woo side or the namaste side," not that there's anything wrong with that, but if you're one of these people who would never be caught dead doing yoga, try DDP yoga. There's an app. I suggest it's a great gateway drug into other styles of yoga. And today I got my sweat on playing boxing on the VR, on the Oculus Quest. So there's lots of things out there for you to do. that doesn't even feel like exercise. It's just mad fun. Like my watch, I mean, it's after midnight, so it says I've done 1 minute exercise. My watch said I was on 70 minutes exercise for today. So yeah, it's easy to find things that are good fun, that is like exercise in disguise. So absolutely,
let me
recommend that.
I should probably clarify that part then. Is that there's many forms of yoga. The yoga we're talking about is Kundalini. For when we say like it helps me through the focus, the self-confidence, and all that. So I would highly recommend you do that. But then the DDP, like Tony's saying, that would be part of your exercise, because that is actually challenging your body. You're sweating. You're getting resistance, which is your body weight. So that is definitely excellent. That can count towards your exercise for sure.
I'm yet to try and enjoy Kundalini yoga. I'm yet to give it a bash. Maybe we could do a live or something. Maybe we need to just get that happening. I've got my mat right
One
there.
of these days, Tony will want to stop struggling.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe.
Here we go. No.
Maybe.
Well, I guess before we get into today's RockStar mission, Tony needs to remind everybody of something.
Yeah, do you know what you should probably do right about now if you're watching us here on the YouTubes? You should probably just go down below this video. There's a button that says subscribe. You should click on it. And then next to it is a little bell. That's the notifications bell. And that's going to let you know when we upload some stuff. You should click on that too. And while you're down there, just type in a little comment. Remember, you're going to tell us what your first album ever was. And hey, have you tried Kundalini yoga? How long should I keep resisting before I should just jump straight on the Kundalini yoga bandwagon? Tell us in the comments below. I need to hear it. Now, let's hear all about that RockStar mission, Dan.
All right. Well, today's RockStar mission, if you choose to accept it and commit to it, which we hope you will, go to rockstarinlife.com/39. That's rockstarinlife.com/39. And when you go there, print the RockStar mission worksheet, workbook, whatever you want to call it, print it out. And, from the tools, what I want you to do is from the tools and the strategies that we talked about today, I want you to choose 2 of them. 2 things that you're going to implement in your life. And these should be 2 things that you aren't already currently doing. So if you listen to the past episodes and you chose something similar that you're doing, I want you to choose 2 new ones.
Yeah.
So something completely new, or, if you're already doing them for whatever, that's just part of your daily practice. 2 new things that we talked about today, or 2 things that you come up with that we didn't even mention today, and start implementing those in your life right now. And you're going to do that for the next 40 days so you can make it part of your DNA. Do it every single day for the next 40 days. Super important. Don't miss a day. And if you miss a day, start over from day 1 and do 40 days in a row. That makes it part of your DNA. It makes it part of you. It makes it permanent. And that's what you want to do. And commit to it, sign it, and just start doing it.
Yep, that's right. And you got this. Just like we said, right? You got this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do it now.
Do it now.
Love it. All right. I ain't got nothing else other than to say, be a rockstar in your life. Make the world your stage.
You did the dual click. It's like crossing the streams. And from me, don't stop believing. And I liked it, so I went and put a ring on it. See you later.
Boom. I got it on the first try.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Cut.
Thanks for watching the RockStar in Life podcast, your source for unleashing your inner rockstar. For more tips, training, and free stuff, be sure to go to rockstarinlife.com and join the RockStar in Life revolution today. Thanks again, and don't forget to be a rockstar in your life and make the world your stage.